All right, so this is a battle report. Just got through playing this game about 2 hours ago, actually, maybe three by now. But this is a battle report between the Wars of the Dark Gods and Kingdom of Equitaine. This should be an interesting battle because it's a rematch against an opponent that I played about 2-3 battle reports ago. First, I decided to go. I'm going to deploy my opponent, my units, in a staggered deployment so I can get the matchups that I want. Drink a little IPA. All right, this is my opponent's setup here. In the Vanguard phase, I decided to do an audible move to the right. And this is another look at my opponent's list. He has about 5 lances, 2 units of knights errant, and 1 questing knight unit. Over here I have the pain train, 2 fallen units, 1 giant unit of marauders, about 30 of them with spears and shield with poisonous attacks. I want these guys to do some damage in close combat against his knights. They have lethal strike, and they fight an extra rank, and they have they're hoarded. In my movement phase, I decided to move the Marauder Horsemen up like this. I'm going to throw some throwing axes. Might be able to score some wounds. This warrior's army has a little bit more shooting than usual. All right, so over in the magic phase, I was able to get a spell off, which gives them the unit there in front of his yeoman. It gives them -3 to initiative, -3 weapon skill against any opponent in close combat with them. I did them as a defensive measure. I bring my fallen up like this. The crushers end up on top of the hill. Hopefully he doesn't do any shooting against me with his trebuchets. The less he shoots at me, the more I'm able to get some sneaky stuff through. All right. Yeah. Yep. That's the look there. I'm going to be throwing axes. I know, right? A warrior's army with shooting phase. Didn't really score many wounds, but in his magic phase, he miscast in the second turn there. When the bottom of the first turn, he miscast, and nothing really happens, but he runs out of magic dice, so that's good. But he was able to do 1 wound on each unit, or 1 wound on 1 unit, 2 wounds on the other from his shooting. In my turn, by ambushing fallen beast comes in. He was not expecting that, and I guess I could have told him that I had him coming in, and it would have changed the way he deployed, and it would have probably been awesome to do that. But I didn't. In hindsight, I'm going to start telling people I'm going to do that to him. In my magic phase, I was able to do some damage with fireball. I think I did like three wounds. He let it through. That's one of those spells that you really don't want to let it through because you never know what it's going to do. I've killed vampire lords with a stray fireball. But anyway, in my movement phase, I was able to move just like this. I'm trying to use shaft him up and still throw throwing axes at him without exposing myself to unneeded risk. The knights move up behind the trees. Maybe he might try to reach out and hit the skull crusher bus, and I might be able to get a flank charge with the knights. Or he may just go ahead and go after the knights so he can get out of the way of the crusher bus, which I wouldn't blame him doing that, not one bit. But it does keep his unit out of the fight, and a crusher unit, or the knight unit would be a sacrifice that, you know, I can accept that loss. He charges the fallen in close combat. He also charges the other fallen in close combat with his yeoman, and the Pegasi charged on the right. And as you're seeing this now, he moves forward some knights through the, I guess, through the grass there, and one of them dies. I guess he fell on top of a corn cob the wrong way. You ever ran backwards in a cornfield? Anyway, in close combat, the fallen beast was able to take out his chevalier, so that's one. And now we have to go after the other one. I could have hit his unit in the rear, the knight unit in the rear. The fallen beast is unbreakable, and it's probably a pretty good chance that he would have probably survived. So I need to look at opportunities like that and probably use them to my advantage. And his knight unit charges my knight unit over here to the right. It's not something I really want, and especially the way that he hit. I wasn't able to bring all of my attacks to bear, so not good at all, not good at all. And it's only going to take one bad roll of armor to mess that up, which I do a lot, actually. In close combat, he tears the fallen apart, and then I think he's able to kill the beast, which did make his close combat charge after he failed his charge at the beast. Yep, he dies. Or they might have charged the beast when they overran. I think he might have charged the beast when he overran. But he tears my knights apart, leaves one alive. And you have this single yeoman in the way of the pain train. Move out of the way. Move, bitch. Get out the way. I'm sorry. What? And over here in close combat, we have the fallen getting their ass kicked there. And then my turn, I decided to charge my chimera in, and I moved the barbarians up to shaft his other unit, so the unit attacked by the chimera cannot reinforce the his unit over here. Okay. So hopefully the fallen can actually do their work and maybe make the Pegasi flee. Yep, here's another look here. I used my breath weapon and I got 7 wounds and he rolled 7 saves. I mean, this guy was on fire. I mean, wow. How many re-rolls does the army get? You know what I'm saying? He was able to get a spell off that allowed him to re-roll one of his armor saves. And in this close combat, the fallen were able to score a wound. They broke the unit and they ran. The fallen lost close combat earlier in the game, so I decided to go ahead and just change their facing. All right, so he does flee, and he flees right in front of the crusher bus. And hopefully, if I'm able to charge in my turn, I will be able to overrun and score a 9 and run right to the flank of that his main unit, and it will be glorious. The chimera comes in. Yeah. That's another image of the chimera. He was able to make one of his charges, but he failed the other charge. He wanted to charge both units into the spearman, and if he had done that, it would have been lights out for them. If they, being how terribly they rolled in the following combat. I was able to get a +1 toughness onto the general with my spell casting. in close combat with the chimera. He broke the chimera. The chimera did like 1 wound, maybe. No, he didn't do any wounds. He was able to roll his ward save, re-roll that, and he was able to save that. So the chimera lost close combat by 1 because of musician. Well, it wasn't by 1. He just lost close combat. His leadership is 6, and he fled, but he was able to get away. He rolled a 10. I refaced the fallen like so. In close combat, he lost close combat here. His knights failed to break us. They ran away, and these knights have great weapons, if I'm not mistaken. And in my turn, I decided to pull my fallen up right behind the knights because I still want the crushers to be able to overrun if at all possible. And sure enough, they roll a 9 in close combat to overrun, grab the flank of that side of that knight unit, and this is what Chaos Lords want to happen. If it works, this is going to be a concussive wave that just continues like dominoes all the way down the field. It's going to be glorious. Many units will fall. There will be much bloodshed, many bodies. In my close combat, in my turn, I was able to rally the chimera. He rolled a 5 to rally like a boss. And the crushers made their 9-inch charge. Oh, this is gonna be fantastic and glorious, glorious. And this is his magic phase. He casts a spell. He gets reroll ward save, reroll armor save, something like that. I don't care. Reroll all you want. Do you realize what's about to happen to you? Do you know the terrors that exist behind those metallic eyes, flames? In close combat against the, he actually charged the barbarians in close combat. He killed 4 barbarians. Now he could only kill 4 barbarians, but he was able to kill a whole knight unit. The barbarians broke and ran away. I think they were in 12, and then he decided to reform because he wanted to face the crushers rear end in his turn and possibly make a charge. I didn't see that happening because just, the way the game was going, the crushers are going to charge. They're going to hit the next unit, try to chase down the next unit, and then you're going to have a 21-inch charge, something like that. You're not going to be able to make that charge. I didn't see what he was seeing, so yep. So he faced. I mean, I would have gone after the Marauder just to get the extra point because, yeah, it would have been highly likely that the crushers would have done that. In close combat over here, during the movement phase, I was able to move the fallen beast into close combat with his trebuchet. He fled. Here, he actually overran off the board to get the chimera, and doing so, his guys actually ran to the edge of the field there. I cast Ruby Ring and I got 6 wounds, or 5 wounds like that, and then he rolls all 5s and 6s to save. I'll lie to you not. You know what I'm saying? Are you kidding me? Look at that shit. I mean, he was doing that the entire game. It was freaking amazing. He was able to run and hit the last of the fallen, and that was it. I mean, he pretty much ended off with 2 knight units, and his general's unit was totally annihilated. The crusher bus just went to town. Yeah, he was able to kill some knights, but that if you don't kill that crusher bus, you're not going to win. And if I do a lot of damage, if the army does a lot of damage, otherwise, through other means, you're in trouble. It's going to be very hard to get points. I did reform the barbarians to not give him any points. He would not go in there. So it was a pretty good win for the warriors.